Hi guys, it's Grace with Grace Gets Gastric, and I am here today for my 1 year, 48 week, or 100 week post-op VSG update. So guess who's working from home again today? I know this is the second week in a row that you get raw, unmakeuped Grace, but I just don't really wear makeup if I'm going to be staying at home and not seeing anyone but you guys. And I know y'all don't care about that, but yes, someday soon you'll see me with makeup on again. Anyways, to start us off with stats, again, my name is Grace. I'm 5'8", 29 years old, and on January 2nd, 2018, I had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy or VSG weight loss surgery. My highest weight ever recorded was 354 pounds in May of 2017, and I was required by my insurance to do a 6-month medically supervised weight loss diet, and over the course of that 6 months, I lost 35 pounds, so my starting weight day of surgery was 319 pounds. Last week, I came at you with a weight of 199 even, and this morning I weighed in at 199.1. So that is a weekly gain of 0.1 pounds, a loss in surgery of 119.9 pounds, and a loss since my highest weight of 154.9 pounds. 0.1 gain. Honestly, I'm totally happy with that, considering that this past week was Thanksgiving. So I did go to my mom's. We got there Wednesday night, me and my sister and her boyfriend got there Wednesday night and then left Friday afternoon. And while I would not say that I went totally crazy in terms of eating, I definitely ate more and more sugary, carby things than is my norm. I'm actually really pleased with how I did. I would say actually the biggest thing and the reason why I thought I might be a little bit higher was I did drink. 2 of the nights, my sister, her boyfriend, and I did a drinking game to The Lord of the Rings. And I was not drinking, I was drinking like sugary stuff. So when I got back, I was actually like super bloated, over 200. So I was pleased that it came back down. I mean, I knew that it wasn't all like a real gain. Like I said, I did pretty well. I definitely focused more on the turkey. I made some really yummy Brussels sprouts. If you watched my favorites video, I talked about the recipe that I made. And I just had like, I had a roll, you know, I had some pumpkin pie, and my big indulgence is this homemade Chex Mix that my mom makes that is phenomenal. They're basically like 2 family recipes that I live for around the holidays. It is my mom's Chex Mix and my dad's almond brittle. And they're both like secret family recipes, and they're both just unreal. They're really, really good. And so this is actually the first time I've had the Chex Mix in 2 years, because I used to ask her to make it for me, and she makes like giant batches. So I would get like 2 to 4 like gallon sized bags from her, and then they would last me for like 2 months, which, you know, is a long time when you're 350 pounds and can eat a lot. But I would like save it because it's just so freaking good. Anyways, 2 years ago, it was, I got my surgery in January. So 2 years ago, when I saw her, it was over Christmas, and I was on my pre-op diet, my 2-week pre-op diet. So was not having Chex Mix. And then last year was, I was just a year out of surgery and was still trying to do as much as I could to you know, stay on track. And so I, you know, asked her not to make it. This year though, it had been 2 years, and it is one of my all-time favorite things. So I did ask her to make it, but I said, just make a single batch. And she did, which still makes quite a lot. But basically what she did, and I think this is how I'm gonna just function, is that when I'm there for the few days, I kind of let myself eat as much of it as I want. And you know, I still have restriction. I still have other things I want to eat, so I'm not going crazy, but I'm definitely eating, you know, you can put away some Chex Mix even with VSG. And then she sent me home with just basically like a quart-sized bag of it. So I still have some of it. It's been like a week, basically, not quite a week. But I've already eaten like half of it. But then once it's gone, and it's a relatively small amount. So I don't really feel too bad if I was to binge it, but it is something I like to savor. So anyways, that was kind of a very long-winded thing, but basically, I had this surgery, and my goal is to, you know, generally improve my eating habits, to eat healthier, to focus more on, for me, kind of whole foods, focusing on higher protein, getting some veggies, you know, all of that good stuff. But there are still things in my life that I don't want to have to give up forever. I don't want to have this surgery and then never be able to kind of enjoy those things that made me happy, that make me happy. And that, you know, I do think that food, for all that I am working on my issues with food and trying to not let it have such a hold on me, it still is something that is more than just sustenance. And I don't think that will ever change for me, you know, and it is something that is special, that has meaning, that has memory, that you share with people, that can bring people together. And so I don't want to give up things like the Chex Mix recipe that my family makes that has like totally brightened my holiday season for 26 plus years, you know, of my life. You know, I want to be able to have some of my dad's brittle when I go and see them over Christmas. And I mentioned in my favorites video, I love eggnog. And so I'm okay with allowing myself to have a little bit of it. And to each their own. I totally get people who want to find lightened down versions of it. That was me the first year after surgery. And I can see how that would work really well for people. But for me, like, if I'm not going to have the actual eggnog, like, I'd rather just not have it at all. That soy milk version, the keto version, like, to me, not worth it. But to each their own, right? Like, if that's what works for you, then that's awesome. And there are definitely some things that I think can be lightened down really well. And then there are some things where I'm like, who was it? There's this guy on YouTube and Instagram, Flexible Dieting Lifestyle, and he does a lot of stuff about flexible dieting. Sorry, these little hair things are driving me insane. But he has this thing that he says is, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And it's this whole thing where there are some foods that are like a hell yes, this is worth it, you know? And if you're not being like, yes, and for me, eggnog, like having a glass of eggnog, not even that much because it's so rich. But for me, having that once or twice, a couple of times over the holiday season, that's a hell yes. That is something that I love, that I have very rarely, that is delicious, and it is worth the caloric hit that I'm taking in my macros that day. For some of you, it's not. It's like I could take it or leave it. And if that's the case, then it should be a no, right? If it's not something that you're like, yes, this is worth the hit to macros, the sacrifice that I'm gonna have to make in other areas, then go for it. And there are some foods that are like that for me, and there are a lot of foods out there that I am trying to learn where that line is. You know, you spend your whole life, I spent my whole life saying yes to everything, right? Anything that caught my fancy. And as I've started, you know, as I've been really tracking calories and paying attention to what I put in my body, I really have to start thinking more stringently about, is this worth it? Is this going to taste as delicious as I want it to? Is it going to be worth the hit? You know, like a store-bought cookie. Some store-bought cookies are amazing, like the cookie from Met Market here. But you know, like a Chips Ahoy cookie. I don't like those. I could eat them because I have a huge cookies are one of my triggers, right? But for me, I don't think they're that good. And so eating those and giving in to eating those is not worth the hit to me. And so sometimes fat brain Grace does not make that connection and will want to binge on those anyways. But I have to remember, okay, if you are going to go off plan, or if you're going to indulge with cookie, make it count. Make it be a cookie that is absolutely worth it. Don't do it for a Chips Ahoy, you know? And so that's something that I've been, especially with all the food that is around the office in the holidays, there's a lot of stuff that looks good or that just is tempting me. And I have to be like, you know, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm just curious, I want to try it. That's one thing. But don't go crazy on something if it's not even that good. And that is something that I still do struggle with, just because that mentality after 29 years is hard to give up. But, you know, constant work in progress. Anyways, guys, I think that's kind of what I had to talk about for you guys all today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate. I hope you guys are really excited for December. I know that this is an amazing time of year for a lot of people. It is also a really hard time of year for a lot of others. So if you are struggling at this time of year, know that it's okay. Know that it's just a month. It's just a time of year. Things will pass. We'll get better. We'll improve. And I know that it can be kind of isolating sometimes to be surrounded by so much holiday cheer and family and festivities and to not feel in the spirit. So if that's you, you're not alone. It's all right. And I hope that you stay safe. So thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you all very soon. Bye!